Welcome to Municipal Elections Medicine Hat 2025. My name is Wesley Pratt, and I'm your host for today. And joining me is Mark Albrecht, who's throwing his hat in the ring for the position of councillor in the upcoming council. Welcome, Mark. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. I have a few questions for you that enable us to give our listeners or our viewers more insight into who you are and what you're about. Can you tell me a little bit about your path to politics?
Actually, my path to politics, I've always had a huge passion for municipal government. Unfortunately, I'd been busy the last 29 years running 3 different businesses. But I thought now that since I had sold my last one, took a couple months off, started attending council meetings again. And I thought, you know what? My neighbors, I had a huge support base from my neighbors. I thought, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring.
So that's actually the second part of the question. Obviously, your local community and people around you gave you support and told you to take a chance at it. That's fantastic. That's really good.
Yeah, they sure did. The Riverside Community Association was behind me.
Oh, yes. I know them well.
Yeah, and so were all my neighbors down there. So
good stuff. You related to the fact that you had 3 businesses. So the question is, what research, real-world business experience, or public or nonprofit boards have you been a member of, and how did you learn about municipal government works?
Well, to start with, on nonprofit boards, I served for the Salta Gymnastics Club many years ago. That'd be my big one. And in terms of real business experience, like I have 29 years. I had 2 oil field service companies. AMT Environmental Services was an environmental and oil field consulting company. We specialized in site assessments and drilling waste management. And my company worked for energy giants like ConocoPhillips. At different times, we would have 50 projects on the go. And I had about a dozen consultants working for me at the height of it.
Oh, very interesting. And as far as municipal government workings?
Just followed them.
Followed them? Very
yep.
Good. What are your top 3 issues that you're hearing that voters are facing and are you hearing from them during your campaign?
Like I said earlier, I've been on a fairly aggressive door knocking campaign. I've visited about 300 households already in the last couple of weeks. And the top 3 issues are the craziness at City Hall. People are really fed up, especially with tax dollars being spent on legal fees.
Right.
The second is the actual tax increases that the citizens of Medicine Hat have had to face and bear. And a lot of people are finding it really tough right now to budget. And number 3, people are really passionate about keeping our energy division in the hands of council and the citizens of Medicine Hat.
Oh, very interesting. What would you consider to be the number 1 issue?
Unfortunately, it's the craziness of City Hall that's got people in an uproar right now, the last 4 years.
Most of the candidates, or several of the candidates, have said they won't raise taxes. How would you plan to support the essential programs, infrastructure, and services if there was less money from not raising taxes?
I honestly believe and would love to be part of a policy which I call RMS, which is repair, maintain, and sustain. And I think that's something we have to do for the next 4 years. It's time to really tighten our belts. Look at the different departments in the city. See if we can create greater efficiencies to save tax dollars. And, it starts as simple as not having to spend money on legal fees for in-house fighting.
Good points. What do you believe is the role and purpose of the mayor and council members?
The mayor, I feel, is the ultimate ambassador and seller for the city. But I also feel that he should be directing council and keeping council and the meetings in line. Not necessarily forcing people to vote on his side per se or her side. And as far as individual councillors, I think we're there to represent the citizens of the city.
Very good. True enough. What do you feel would set you apart from your other fellow candidates?
I have a willingness to actually be a hands-on guy. I will visit job sites. I'm not afraid to put on my hard hat, coveralls, and steel-toe shoes. And I would like to visit the individual departments as time goes on, if elected. I've heard it's been 20-some years since departments have actually seen a counselor show up in person.
Interesting.
And I plan on dedicating myself full time to it.
So basically, that leads to the second part of that is what will you do differently if you win? Walk about and get to know people, right?
Like I said, yep, yeah. Hands-on.
Hands-on, very good. Recognize that individuals and groups always make mistakes, not always, but can make mistakes. How would you identify that you as an individual or as a group that you made a mistake, and how would you ensure accountability for that mistake?
Well, I've already made a mistake early in my campaign. I did not get to attend the councillor debate at the Esplanade here on Wednesday or Friday night because of a clerical error, and I take full ownership in that. I should have been a little more aggressive in my follow-ups with the Chamber of Commerce to make sure that they got my proper email address so I could get the documents. I've had to apologize to my supporters. I did that on Facebook yesterday already, and it's time to just march on.
Very good. What does collaboration mean to you?
Collaboration to me means working together. Now, the ultimate goal of collaborating, I think, in politics is sometimes you got to give a little to receive a little. So say there'd be like a housing issue that I'm completely opposed to, but I'm working with council to try and hammer it out. But I have a proposal for something else that they're not particularly in agreement with. I give a little bit on their side and they give a little bit on mine. And it's with working with all the other organizations as well.
So that's a little bit of a description, but can you describe how you plan to collaborate with your new colleagues?
Actually, I've already collaborated on the campaign trail by spinning different ideas and listening to other ideas.
Very good. It's not just your new colleagues. You're going to have a new city administration staff, community partners, regional municipalities, and along with the provincial and federal governments. So it's a whole new dynamic. Does that same model that you're following apply on how
Absolutely. And I'm going to have an open door policy. I want to get to know everybody that we're dealing with.
Very good. The current city council just voted in favor of a large raise in salaries for councillors. Given the current local economy and affordability challenges facing many citizens, many of whom have not seen a raise in years or quite a while, if elected, would you put forward a motion to reduce the salary of councillors?
Absolutely, 100%. I was actually at that meeting and was quite irate that they had done that at the end of their term.
Can you give us some information why you were irate?
Just because it's so tight. The local economy is so tight right now. And I've listened to people's struggles, and I just don't think it's fair for us to vote in a big fat increase at a time when I'm campaigning on fiscal responsibility. And to me, that's just not responsible.
Thank you. If elected, how, as a member of City Council, will you make an effort to encourage population and business growth in the city?
I did a little bit of research into this, and I was really surprised. The city of Medicine Hat does not have an economic growth committee. So I looked outside. Lethbridge, Grand Prairie, Wetaskiwin, and even Saskatoon, they all have elected economic growth committee, and Medicine Hat does not. So one of my first goals, if elected, would be to try and implement one of these committees.
And what do you see as the advantage of having a committee like that?
Well, we're there to sell the city. And I think, we have to do it in a sort of an aggressive manner now. Mm-hmm. Because Medicine Hat's been so stagnant for the last 10 years.
And how would that affect the population situation?
Well, if we get some more industry in here, population, I feel, will follow with it.
Very good. The Medicine Hat United Ratepayers Association and many citizens are asking for an end to the municipal consent and access fee, or the MCAF fee, plus other fees that have been added on their utility bills. Can you explain what that fee is and whether or not it should be removed from our bills?
Actually, I have to admit at first I had no idea what the MCAF fee actually was. So I looked up one of my utility bills, and last month it was $13 split evenly between gas and electricity. So after looking it up, What it is essentially a property tax that the city is actually charging our own utility department to pay for using its infrastructure for power lines and whatnot. I think we have to actually keep that fee in place, because it's my understanding if we didn't, we'd lose the revenue for it. And then the buck would probably be passed on to just increasing property taxes to offset it.
Okay.
So it just makes no sense to get rid of it if it's already there.
Right.
Like we'd be moving it from one department to another.
Okay. Very good answer. Where do you stand on funding for both the new recreation centers and maintenance of existing facilities?
Well, like I said earlier, I think we should adopt a policy of RMS, repair, maintain, and sustain. At the current moment, I am not in favor of building a new leisure center. Our city has some of the best amenities in North America, actually. If you take our leisure center, our esplanade, our event center, all the recreational trails and parks and swimming pools, there are very few cities that can compare to Medicine Hat with our size. Like I've been to bigger cities all over Alberta, Saskatchewan, Montana, Washington State, and I would say Medicine Hat's first class. You know, if we grow, absolutely down the road, but right now, I think we have to tighten our belts.
Thank you. Nonprofit organizations play a vital role in supporting families, seniors, and vulnerable members of our community. As the councillor, potentially, how will you support and strengthen local partnerships with local nonprofits to ensure that they have the resources and the recognition they need to continue serving the community effectively?
Through collaboration and advocacy, I'm going to want to get to know all these people and organizations and work with them. Absolutely.
Okay. What will you do to support what would you do to support the nonprofits in their advocacy with the provincial and federal governments around sustainability of funding for their programs, infrastructure, and/or services short and long term?
Well, first of all, if they're facing cuts by the provincial or federal government, I think we as a council should work together hard to lobby for them. I mean, that's all we can do.
Very good. Halo Ambulance is a widely recognized and essential emergency service for our region, and until recently received municipal support from the City of Medicine Hat. What's your position on restoring that funding?
I would love to try and find some money in the budget to restore that funding for Halo. I feel it's an important emergency service for this area. I've been a huge supporter of Halo as an independent businessman in the past.
Very good. This is a sort of a question that everybody gets asked in this day and age. It's sort of a catch thing. What do you hope to do in the first 100 days?
Well, once again, I would really like to see the establishment of an economic development committee run by council. Second, my policy of RMS, I would love to see council adopt something similar. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same. And I've heard a lot of the other candidates campaigning on the same issue. So I guess it just depends who's elected.
Well, no, for sure. That's obviously the way it goes. But those are good points, very good points. Can you share with us on social media where voters can find out more information about yourself, about you and your platform?
Well, currently I'm only available on Facebook, but I do have an upcoming website, hopefully early this week.
Can you give us your Facebook go-to?
It's just Mark Albrecht.
Okay, thank you. And would there be information put on there for your upcoming website information?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I will have to post that.
Are there any phone numbers or email or anything that they could go to?
Right now, probably my email would be the best.
Okay, and what would that be?
It's Mark_AMT, so A is in Apple, M is in Mark, T is in Thomas, @tellusplanet.net.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Mark, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. I wish you the best of luck in your candidacy. And thank you for joining us to Medicine Hat Municipal Election 2025.